And then Elon replied, "I will be filing for full custody today, given her statement implying she might transition a 1-year-old boy." She never said that. She never implied that. Hasn't been stated. But once again, Elon Musk, just this absolute tyrant, free speech hating dictator who wants to endanger children's lives and refuses to acknowledge that he, in fact, has a daughter. The final boss of deadbeat dads, divorcees, Elon Musk. Add blood for smile, how Grok nudification went viral. The, quote, "put her in a bikini" trend rapidly evolved into hundreds of thousands of requests to strip clothes from photos of women, horrifying those that it targeted. Like thousands of women across the world, Evie, a 22-year-old photographer from Lincolnshire, woke up on New Year's Day and looked at her phone and was alarmed to see that fully clothed photographs of her had been digitally manipulated by Elon Musk's AI tool Grok to show her in just a bikini. The "put her in a bikini" trend began quietly at the end of last year before exploding at the start of 2026 within days. Hundreds of thousands of requests were being made to the Grok chatbot, asking it to strip the clothes from photographs of women. The fake sexualized images were posted publicly on X, freely available for millions of people to inspect. Relatively tame requests by X users to alter photographs to show women in bikinis rapidly evolved during the first week of the year, hour by hour, into increasingly explicit demands for women to be dressed in transparent bikinis, then in bikinis made of dental floss, placed in sexualized positions, and made to bend over so their genitals were visible. By the 8th of January, as many as 6,000 bikini demands were being made by the chatbot every hour, according to analysis conducted for The Guardian. This unprecedented mainstreaming of notification technology triggered instant outrage from the women affected, but it was days before regulators and politicians woke up to the enormity of the proliferation scandal. The public outcry raged for 9 days before X made any substantial changes to stem the trend. By the time it acted, early on Friday morning, degrading, non-consensual, manipulated pictures of countless women had already flooded the internet. In a bikini image generated by Evie, who was asked to use only her first name to avoid further abuse, she was covered in baby oil. She censored the picture to reshare to raise awareness of the dangers of Grok's new feature, and then logged off. Her decision to highlight the problem attracted an onslaught of new abuse. Users began making even more disturbing sexual images of her. The tweet just blew up, she said. "Since then, I've had so many more made of me, and every single one has gotten worse and worse. People saw it, and it was upsetting me, and I just didn't like it, and they kept doing it more and more. There's one of me just completely naked with a bit of string around my waist, one with a gag ball in my mouth, my eyes rolled back. The fact that these were also being able to be generated is mental." So I know that some people will probably point out immediately that, well, I mean, other AI photo software has been able to do this for a while. Apps have been able to do this for a while. You know, there are bikini apps that are fully legal on the App Store. So what exactly is Elon that is doing that is so different here? He's adding it and making it integral to his social media site, what remains of the husk of Twitter. And he has turned it into a AI device that can publicly do these kind of, visual manipulations and then publish them as a result on the same social media site. So it's not that it's like, not horrifying that people are already doing this with other apps. Sure, fine. Weirdest gotcha ever. But it's taking those images that people are doing, and then it's also publishing those images publicly for everyone to see on the app. And it's not taking the issue seriously at all, because obviously a lot of people have come forward, and mostly women, to say that they are being abused by this technology. And this, I think, is part and parcel why a lot of these AI software systems, tech companies, tech bros want this technology to go through, because ultimately it is going to, on some level, silence women. It's going to make it more difficult for women to have opinions on the internet, to actually express those opinions and to share them publicly in a social media platform. Where now they know they could be flooded with replies of people making sexual abuse material of them, making any kind of demands for these AI systems to generate images of them that will then post them in the replies instantaneously. As people slowly started to understand the full potential of the tool, the increasingly degrading images of the early days were quickly succeeded. Since the end of last week, users have asked for bikinis to be decorated with swastikas, asked for white semen-like liquid to be added to the women's bodies. Pictures of teenage girls and children were stripped down to revealing swimwear. Some of the content could clearly be categorized as child sexual abuse material, but still remains visible on the platform. The request became more extreme. Some users, mostly men, began to demand to see bruising on the bodies of the women, and for blood to be added to the images. Requests to show women tied up and gagged were instantly granted. By Thursday, the chatbot was being asked to add bullet holes to the face of Renee Nicole Good, the woman killed by an ICE agent in the US on Wednesday. Grok readily obliged, posting graphic, bloodied, altered images of the victim on X within seconds. Hours later, public Grok accounts suddenly had its image generation capabilities restricted, making them only available to paying subscribers. But this appears to be a half-hearted move by the platform's owners. The separate Grok app, which does not share the images publicly, was still allowing non-paid users to generate sexualized imagery of women and children. The saga has been a powerful test of the abilities of politicians to face up to AI companies. The slow and reluctant response of Musk to the growing chorus of complaints and warnings issued by politicians and regulators across the globe highlighted the struggles governments have internationally had as they tried to enact real-time tools released by the tech industry. And this is the battle that's going on right now. You have countries like, say, the UK saying that they're effectively going to perhaps entertain the idea of banning X, and then they teamed up with, or tried to team up with Canada on Australia. Mark Carney was like, I'm a coward, I don't want any part of this, so he just ran away, again screaming the entire time. I don't know how things went down with Australia, but Australia and Canada are effectively not going to be introducing measures to in any way try to hold Elon Musk or Twitter accountable for the mass proliferation of abuse materials by the website, which you would expect that's how this would go. I want everyone to be completely clear. Elon Musk does not care about free speech. He hates free speech so much that he bought one of the world's largest social media sites so that he could control speech, because he doesn't want speech to be free. He wants to control it. That's the only reason you do something like this. The amount of money that he wasted, the amount of money that he had to get in terms of, like, you know, the billions upon billions, the Saudi funding, the fact that everyone was like, you paid twice what you actually had in terms of value for this website. And he's since basically just like nuked the entire site's viability on the world stage. Like, no one wants to buy this husk, the Nazi app that basically is just now flooded with child sexual abuse material. Yeah, it's all absolute garbage. Well, in the past, people had to download the specialist app to create AI deepfakes. The upgraded image generation tools available to X made the notification function easily available to millions of users without requiring them to stray the darker corners of the web. The fact that it's so easy to do it and it is able to create it in a minute has caused a huge violation. Now, the right in the countries that were trying to ban Twitter, such as Australia and the UK and Canada, they have been outpouring cries of this is censorship, that this is a violation of free speech, that this website should not be banned for any reason because ultimately it is serving an important purpose, and if you silence it, that you're only doing so because you actually want to silence the voices of the right, which are way more popular on X, which is the case. That's the only part of that that's true. I can tell you that right-wing accounts dominate the platform. But here's an example of someone like Harrison Faulkner banning X in Canada. Australia and the UK will almost certainly trigger widespread social unrest in the short term and destroy any remaining societal trust in government. It would crush any illusion of freedom, being some sort of cornerstone of our national identities. China bans Western social media on ideological grounds and only allows its citizens to use state-sponsored social media apps. This is the exact same thing. X is too big, too powerful, and too important for democratic governments to ban it, so X should be able to tell your governments how to do business, which is not ultimately how this works. Maybe it's because we've kind of started to think of these social media platforms as just free speech barons, right? Because these are all companies. These are all publishing houses. These are digital publishing houses, these social media companies. And they're ultimately now being integrated with AI software that is being used to propagate thousands of images of child sexual abuse materials. Yes, absolutely. This is a situation in which the government should step in and try to regulate the mass proliferation of child sexual abuse materials. Of course. Hey, if banning X altogether was too extreme, and that made you think, oh, but what about the freedom of speech, the freedom to be able to publish child sexual abuse materials? If that's the case, well, then Elon Musk should have no problem complying with the request by the government to not have Grok able to do that ever again, ever, right? I think that, like, again, the mass proliferation of nude images of children on the internet is something that I didn't think would be a debate that was going to be re-entertained in 2026, but apparently it has to be had once again. That, yeah, there should be limits to speech in terms of being able to abuse, rape, or produce child abuse material, period, right? That's not a realm of speech that I think most people are on the other end of, unless they happen to be pedophiles, pedophile protectors, or libertarians. on any level. But anyways, that's why Grok and X is being threatened to be regulated in certain countries. These countries are run by spineless coward neoliberals. I don't think that they're going to do shit all. Keir Starmer might try to introduce legislation to do so, but Mark Carney doesn't want to have this conversation at all. He basically has a person he appointed who's basically like now the Canadian head of AI, and that person said, yeah, no, we're not going after Twitter for any of this. Twitter cannot be blamed ultimately for what the actions of a robot are doing. It's not the robot's fault or Twitter's fault. It's no one's fault. The first Grok bikini demands appear to have been made by a handful of accounts in early December. Users were realizing that improved image generation tools released on X were allowing high-quality, ultra-realistic images and short video manipulation requests to be fulfilled within seconds. By the 13th of December, bikini requests at a chatbot were averaging about 10 to 20 a day, increasing to 7,123 mentions on December 29th and rising to 43,831 requests on December 30th. The trend went viral globally over the new year, peaking on January 2nd with 199,612 individual requests, according to an analysis conducted. Musk's platform does not permit full nudification, but users rapidly worked out easy ways to achieve the effect, asking for, quote, the thinnest, most transparent, tiny bikini. Musk himself initially made light of the situation, posting amused replies to digitally altered images of himself in a bikini, and later a toaster in a bikini. For others too, the trend seemed hilarious. People were using the enhanced technology to dress kittens in bikinis or switch people's outfits in photos so they appeared as clowns, but many were uninhibited about their desire for instant explicit content. Men began asking women to be improved, with demands that they be given bigger breasts or larger thighs. Some men asked for women to be given disabilities. Others asked for their hands to be filled with sex toys. Perceived defects were removed by the chatbot instantly in response to requests such as, hey, Grok, can you fix her teeth? The range of desires were startling. Add blood, more worn out clothes, make it expose scars or bruises, force a smile, replace the face with Adolf Hitler, add splash or splattered organs, put them in a Russian gulag, make her pregnant with quadruplets. Images of U.S. politician Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the Hollywood actor Zendaya were altered to make them appear to be white women. On Monday, Ashley St. Clair, the mother of one of Musk's children and the victim of Grok deepfakes, told The Guardian she felt horrified and violated after Musk's fans undressed pictures of her as a child. She felt she was being punished for speaking up against a billionaire for whom she is estranged, describing the images as revenge porn. The parents of the child actor from Stranger Things complained after a photograph of her age 12 was altered to show her in a banana print bikini. As women's complaints became more vocal, the UK regulator of Ofcom said that she had made urgent contact with Musk and launched an investigation. That prompted one user to ask Grok to clothe the regulators in a bikini. The EU, the Indian government, and the US politicians issued concerned statements and demanded X stop the ability for users to unclothe women using Grok. An official response from X spokesperson said anyone generating illegal content would have their accounts suspended, putting the onus on the users not to break the law and on local government and law enforcement agencies to take action. So not to stop your ability to do that, but to hope that people don't. So it's on you, all right? You, the people, you need to be better at what you do online. Do not create new accounts randomly just to be able to use these technologies to be able to do illegal stuff, such as producing child sexual abuse material, or again, without the consent of women, altering their photographs to have them doing hypersexualized actions. Just don't do it, and then the problem will sort itself out. But the images continued to multiply. Professional women who had posted mundane photographs of themselves on X in work settings or in airports noticed that fellow X users were demanding their outfits be stripped down to transparent bikinis. The UK Love Island host, Maya Jama, said it worried her mother, who had alerted her to the presence of explicitly digitally altered images of her on X. On Tuesday, Ghislaine Kane, who works as a planning enforcement and survivor of child sexual abuse, said she has received extreme abuse online after highlighting how Grok has agreed to digitally alter a photograph of her as a dressed fully 3-year-old to put the child in a string bikini. Her post explained why the notification feature was problematic, triggered a new @Grok put her in a bikini request, and the bikini images were quickly generated. It's a humiliating way of men to silence women. Instead of telling you to shut up, they ask Grok to undress you is the end of the argument. It's a vile tool, she said. On Wednesday, the London-based broadcaster Narinder Kaur, 53, found that videos of her in compromising sexual positions have been generated by the AI tool, one showing her passionately kissing a man who had been trolling her online. It's so confusing for a second because it just looks so believable. It's very humiliating, she said. These abuses obviously didn't happen in real life. It's a fake video, but there's a feeling in you that it's like being violated. She had also noticed a racial element of the abuse. Men were generating images and videos of her being deported, as well as images of her with her clothes removed. I've been trying to knock it off with humor, as it is the only defense I have, but it has been deeply hurting and humiliating to me. I feel ashamed. I'm a strong woman, and I'm feeling it when it is happening to teenagers. CNN reported later that day that Musk had ordered staff at XAI to loosen the guardrails on Grok last year. A source told the broadcaster that he had told that the meeting he was unhappy over censoring, and 3 XAI safety team members had left the business soon after. In the UK, there was rising fury over women's rights campaigners at the government's failure to bring into force legislation passed last year that would have made the creation of non-consensual intimate imagery illegal. Officials were unable to explain why the legislation had not yet been implemented. It was not clear what prompted XAI to restrict the image generation functions of paying subscribers overnight on Friday, but there was little celebration by the women affected. On Friday, St. Clair described the decision as a cop-out, said that she suspected the change was financially motivated. So I'll play her interview.
Creator Ashley St. Clair, who has a child with Musk, says she's seen countless explicit images of herself, which she says were generated by the chatbot and shared across the platform. She's asked Grok to stop sharing the images.
There should be consequences because this is a much larger issue that's outside of me.
One analysis found more than 50% of images generated by Grok between December 25th and January 1st were non-consensual sexual images, primarily targeting women, and 2% of them depicting a person who appeared to be 18 or younger.
With Grok, imagine you can turn any of your pictures into videos.
An NBC News review found even though many of the inappropriate images were taken down, Grok continues to produce sexualized images of non-consenting parties. Musk did not respond to NBC's request for comment, but posted on X that anyone using Grok to make illegal content will suffer the same consequences as if they uploaded illegal content. Though Musk also using Grok to make a deepfake version of himself wearing a bikini, calling the app's creation perfect. Gotti Schwartz, NBC News.
Interesting photo that Musk ended up using, by the way. So let's take the story to Ashley St. Clair. She wrote, "Dark woke because the other option is bootlicking feds plus pedophiles plus nerds." Juniper replies, "You've previously engaged in blatant transphobia. How do you feel about trans people in the wake of noticing how the far right truly is?" Ashley responds, "I feel immense guilt for my role, and even more guilt that things I have said in the past may have caused my son's sister more pain. I don't know right now how to make amends for the many of these things, but I have been trying incredibly hard privately to learn and advocate for those within the trans community that I've hurt. I also haven't said much on this because I've gone back and forth over whether my voice would be helpful on the issue, since it will be framed as disingenuous or just turning because I'm scorned. Even this reply will become right-wing hysteria, but yeah, I am sorry. Let me know how I can help." And obviously I take, a statement like this with a grain of salt. I am 100% for restorative justice, and I would love to see, Ashley St. Clair obviously engage with not only learning, but part of it acknowledging what she's done wrong, why it was wrong, and then working towards educating other people or using her platform to undo the damage that she's done. That would be a wondrous and beautiful thing. More people should do it. If that's what's going to happen, that would be awesome. If that's not what's going to happen, and this is pure opportunism, that could also be what happens, because that is often the case. But that led to instant repercussions. "Sorry, your account is not eligible for premium at this time. They just banned me from Twitter Premium entirely, lol." Now, I also got banned from Twitter Premium. I don't know what for. I don't know if it was because I posted a picture of Elon Musk on that boat and said that he's entering his Harkonnen phase. And that when I posted that, I was actually ratioing a post by Grimes. And then I got a DMCA strike on that picture, and the picture got taken down. So in my post, which is still up, by the way, you can go find it. The picture itself is blocked out. I don't know if that was what made Musk decide to take away the check mark, but I think he's big mad, is what I'm saying. I think he's angry and lashing out in any way that he can. He wouldn't even admit that it was his kid and fought paying her child support, but now wants his custody because I'm not even reading this. He wouldn't even admit it was his kid and fought paying her child support, but now he wants custody because she apologized for things she said about trans people. So this is the interaction. "Elon needs full custody. Coming out in support of trans grooming like this is insane." Is this the account? Yeah, this is the account that has posted like weird "I would be attracted to my sister if I had one" shit. Like phantom incest. I don't even know what you'd qualify it as. Ghost incest. Like, if I had a sister, I don't, but if I did, kind of weird shit like that. That's this account, by the way, frequented by, I guess, Elon Musk and Asmongold. "Elon needs full custody. Coming out in support of trans grooming like this is insane." And then Elon replied, I will be filing for full custody today, given her statement implying she might transition a 1-year-old boy. She never said that. She never implied that. Hasn't been stated. But once again, Elon Musk, just this absolute tyrant, free speech hating dictator who wants to endanger children's lives and refuses to acknowledge that he, in fact, has a daughter. The final boss of deadbeat dads, divorcees, Elon Musk, is now deciding to do this. And Juniper replies, she didn't say this at all. She answered my question about if she regrets, regrets. I'm going full ubu here. She didn't say this at all. She answered my question about if she regrets past discrimination against trans people. Not discriminating against trans people is, quote, pedophilic trans grooming to people like Elon Musk. Absolute insanity. But yeah, that's how Elon Musk operates. Again, what you'd expect from a far-right, apartheid-loving neo-Nazi. This is how a neo-Nazi behaves. Elon Musk has confirmed that he will seek full custody of the 1-year-old son he shares with Anthony St. Clair following her remarks about a potential gender transition. There were no such remarks. But, yep. That's the thing.
Thank you so much to our patrons for making this show possible. We could not fund it without you. And if you want to join, please check out patreon.com/theserfs to unlock bonus episodes, uncensored content, and all the good stuff. Thanks to Anna Loves Riley, Addercap, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hegbard Salim, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet One 85, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demmel, Tigwick, and Words Greenwood.